Hey everyone, I am Bob Smith from Hulking Nerd. This is a new channel that I hope to become a great source for nerd news in the future for anyone who's interested. I never thought about doing a podcast until I recently saw a show that moved me enough to want to share my thoughts with anyone who's willing to listen. Um, the show I'm talking about is The Mandalorian, and specifically season 2, episode 8. Now, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and so I was very excited to hear that there was going to be a space western just during the times of the Return of the Jedi. So at that time, Darth Vader had just reverted back to Anakin. The Emperor had just died, which is up to debate. And the Empire was in disarray, vying for dominance as the New Republic are still establishing themselves. Now, if you haven't seen the latest episode of The Mandalorian, know that there will be spoilers, but odds are you know what's going to happen in the show. Okay, so at about 25 minutes in the episode, I had already thought this was a decent episode. The whole show itself was 44 minutes long, which includes the credit scene. This is about the time when they crashed onto the ship to rescue Grogu. Okay, so others had mentioned that they didn't like the all-girl team, which consisted of Bo-Katan, the Mandalorian, Fennec Shand, and Cara Dune. Now, I didn't mind. I love the characters, and I love the actresses who play these characters, who are most of the episode anyway. The only issue I had was earlier in an earlier scene in the show where Boba Fett gets kind of equaled by the Mandalorian in the cantina. Now, whether or not the Mandalorian is a man or woman, Boba Fett's Boba Fett. He should have won that fight. Okay, so now they take out the stormtroopers. They storm the ship. They take out the stormtroopers and they're on the bridge. Din Djarin, the main character, has gone to go get Grogu, Baby Yoda, and ends up beating up Moff Gideon, gets the Darksaber, and brings it back to the bridge of the ship. And this is when the Dark Troopers return to the ship and head for the bridge. So now I'm watching this, and I have no idea how the characters are going to get out of the situation that they're in. I love the fact that the Dark Troopers, who we thought were all taken care of, not only return, but become the ones who are aiming to thwart the plans of the heroes. As stated by Moff Gideon, Mando could barely handle one Dark Trooper. How is he going to expect to win against a platoon? So the robots are punching, the Dark Troopers are punching the doors. Tension's rising, and then all of a sudden the alarm goes off, and an X-wing comes flying in. I was excited when I saw the X-wing, but my first thought was that it was this guy, that Marshal, who was in the previous episodes. He's the Marshal who gave Cara Dune her badge, and I'm thinking this will probably be a tie-in because Cara Dune, Gina Carano, is going to have a new show out coming up in Disney Plus called The Rangers of the New Republic. So I'm thinking maybe this will be a tie-in. That's what I'm thinking. So the X-wing comes in, Grogu's ears perk up. I'm assuming it's a Jedi. The Dark Troopers stop, and the music changes. And I kind of liked it because it was like a repeating melody that was not proclaiming fighting, but almost like a ballet to me. I mean, it was like a smooth, planned music that something you wouldn't expect in a starfight, a fight in a starship. Then I saw the robe. Then I saw, the figure walking with the robe. I think it's a Jedi. So the first thing I think of was, who are they using here? Like, who are they going to use in this situation? And I kept thinking Plo Koon. Now, Plo Koon was a Jedi, Master Jedi during the Clone Wars. He's the one who found Ahsoka Tano. So then again, I'm thinking lead in, Ahsoka Tano's show's coming out soon. Maybe they're going to bring in Plo Koon and use him as a character. I thought that'd be kind of cool. So then I see this, and I go into shock. I know for a fact there's only 3 primary Jedi that use green lightsabers: Yoda, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Luke. So now I'm sitting on the end of the sofa. I'm thinking, maybe they're just playing with me. Maybe they're using the green lightsaber because they know the hardcore guys and gals know who that is. But they're not going to, maybe it's not Luke. Okay, so now I'm sitting there waiting to see what happens. Now I'm into this fight. I'm like paying attention to every little detail. And then I see this. I see the glove. Okay, it's another clue. Now I'm thinking, Favreau, what are you doing to me? You're leading up all the clues. You know that some of us are thinking it's Luke Skywalker. And then they get to the final thing. I mean, he just goes piling through those dark troopers. It was great. It was very awesome. And then obviously he goes in and he lifts up his mask or his hood. One of the things I love is playing it over again and again and again. Is the music, that prelude that they play in his while he's traveling from his X-wing to the bridge. It's like a perfect prelude because it leads right into Luke's music that they play when he raises his hood. The music that it's been his music, basically his theme throughout the first, the three movies that he was in. So at this point, my eyes watered a bit. Okay, I'll admit that. I grew up with Luke, and with everything that's happened with The Last Jedi, Jake, this is what I've been waiting for ever since they announced the sequels. I know the CGI isn't the best. I don't care. Luke and R2 are back in canon on one of the most popular shows on TV. This episode is by far my favorite episode of any TV show, and by far the best finale to anything I've ever seen. And bonus, it was on my birthday. Thank you, Jon Favreau. So some thoughts I had is I wanted to share because I'm just in talking with other people is some people were saying, well, it doesn't matter how he appears now. He's still going to become Jake Skywalker. And for those who don't know Jake, let me show you this clip. It's actually a quote from Mark Hamill himself.
I said to Ryan, I said, Jedis don't give up. I mean, even if he had a problem, he would maybe take a year to try and regroup. But if he made a mistake, he would try and right that wrong. So right there, we had a fundamental difference. But it's not my story anymore. It's somebody else's story. And Ryan needed me to be a certain way to make the ending effective. That's the crux of my problem. Luke would never say that. I'm sorry. Well, in this version, see, I'm talking about the George Lucas Star Wars. This is the next generation of Star Wars. So I almost had to think of Luke as another character. Maybe he's Jake Skywalker. He's not my Luke Skywalker, but I had to do what Ryan wanted me to do because it serves the story well. But listen, I still haven't accepted it completely, but it's only a movie. I hope people like it. I hope they don't get upset. And I came to really believe that Ryan was the exact man that they needed for this job.
Okay, so I personally don't agree with what he said at the end. I think he just said that because he's trying to sell a movie. There's been plenty of comments of him after that he really didn't like that movie. He didn't like the path that they put Luke Skywalker on. So I just want to share that with you. So I think eventually Lucasfilm will stop considering the sequels as canon. I think it's gonna be like another universe, something that doesn't even count. Because I think they have to see that with one episode of a TV show, they were able to bring back so much of the Star Wars fans together. I mean, it's on Twitter, it's everywhere. The fans were coming back together. I'll even bet to say that the toy sales are going to go up, especially with the popularity of Gina Carano's Cara Dune, Boba Fett, Ferrix Shan, Bo-Katan, and of course Luke Skywalker. One of the big problems that Lucasfilm and Star Wars in general had with those sequels was that the toy sales were just not there. I think in some cases I saw some articles where the toy sales, some of the like Luke Skywalker and Han Solo were still selling more toys than Rey Skywalker, or, some of the newer characters. So that I think, excuse me, if that happens, that'll definitely affect whether the sequels are considered canon. Also, another thing that some people talk to me about is whether the Darksaber, the lore. There's no such thing as a lore that Darksaber needs to be one. This goes back to the Clone Wars. That's where the Bo-Katan originally, she was the leader of Mandalore. Her sister, who was the previous leader of Mandalore, hands her the Darksaber, so Bo-Katan became the leader. And we all know what happened. Well, what happened is she lost Mandalore, got overtaken by the Empire. So I think what they're trying to do here is say that in the past she got handed to her, and then her ass got handed to her. So the lore must be that now, in order to earn the respect of the Mandalorians to be the leader again, you have to earn the Darksaber. You have to fight for the Darksaber. You can't just have it handed to you again, because that's what happened last time. I think that's the path they're going to go with that. Finally, I wanted to bring up the fact that when R2-D2 comes in, he starts going crazy when he sees Grogu. And you got to think about it, that R2 never got his memory wiped. So he probably remembers Grogu. Grogu's 50 years old. Grogu was in the Jedi Temple. So it's kind of cool that R2 would remember Grogu. And it's very possible, since Grogu loves sharp, shiny, round things, he must have loved R2 back then too. So I kind of feel like that was what's going on there, that they were remembering each other from the Jedi Temple. And I thought that was really cool. So if you haven't seen this episode that I'm talking about, season 2, episode 8, do yourself a favor and either watch it on Disney Plus or look up the video clips on YouTube. You don't have to be a Skywalker fan to be able to appreciate the feelings of going from almost defeat to overwhelming victory, and that was the best. So thank you. I'm probably gonna go watch it again. If you enjoyed watching this video, please click the like button and subscribe. You can also click the bell if you want to be notified when my next broadcast will be uploaded to the channel. I'm going to try and do about 1 video a week. And with Wonder Woman 84 already out, and I have tons of notes on that. Cobra Kai is out. That was awesome. I binge watched that. And WandaVision's coming up, so it should be really fun. If you have any comments, please share them below. Have a good one, everyone.